I just like it when she tells us that it's recording.
I hate it so much. Every single podcast I'm on here, they're like, it's being recorded. I'm like, I don't fucking care.
It's one of my favorite things. I like to be alerted at instant validation. Hello, good football to all. This podcast, we talk football and only football, so help us God. This is the Shall We Football Podcast. This is Next Gen Quarterbacks. 2022 quarterbacks for NFL teams who suck. This is with Britt Sanders.
Wah, 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 wah.
Bow, bow, bow. Season 2, episode 20 of the Shall We Football Podcast. Big welcome to Britt joining us to break down the top 2021 NFL QB prospects. That's the 21 season, 22 draft. He is an invitee to the Scott Fishbowl Charity Fantasy League this year. Contributor for Breakout Finder. That's at breakdown_finder on the twitter.com. Fantasy Affair Football. You can read all that stuff if you're watching the YouTubes. If you're not, it's at Fantasy Affair FF and ffaffair.com. It sounds like something Richard Gere would star in.
It is not an adultery website. I promise you. You can go there. Your wife can look at your history, click on it, and you will not be sleeping at your best friend's couch. I promise you. He's
also on Devy Deep Dive. That's at Devy Deep Dive on the Twitter. He's also the host of Rookie on the Rise, the podcast. Check it out. I absolutely will. Get at him personally at BFF Sandman on the twitter.com. His bio does say he's going blind. Does that mean you're Daredevil? And how is New York?
I can neither confirm or deny, as my superhero facade must remain intact, very Clark Kent-esque. New York's ass. I hate it. I would never go there. I'm going to go there once, and I refuse to ever return. However, Seattle right now is about as hot as a devil's butthole, and I'm excited for it because I am now able to walk around with less clothes without giving weird looks like I do in the wintertime.
Good for you. Are you of the 40% that have air conditioning in Seattle or of the 60% that don't?
I'm of the 1% that just is hot no matter what. So I don't actually have air conditioning. My parents love me enough for some reason to invite me over occasionally so I can pretend to have air conditioning at their place. But we thrive on box fans and bowls of ice in front of us to help pretend cool.
Yeah, I like that a lot. We're also going to present the McCorkle Award at the end. That's right after the pronunciation game. It seems like Britt should have no trouble with the pronunciation game. We shall see at the end. Britt, this is how we do things here. We like to lay out the ground rules. We're not here to make friends. Human decency and puns are absolutely not tolerated. Name calling is expected. Do not wait until people are done talking to opine. My name is Ryan, and I have gout. And flat feet as well. Keep it brisk. I have a tiny baby gavel and am not afraid to use it.
Oh my God.
I read what's on the teleprompter. No rules, just right. Outback Steakhouse. So,
all right, Ron Burgundy.
Shall we football?
Let's football.
Let's do it.
AJ got a real kick out of that. Someone needs a change. The baby in the diaper in the background. The Pittsburgh Steelers might need a change. The Houston Texans might need a change. The Vegas Raiders, Broncos, Giants, Washington football team, Eagles, Lions, Vikings, Saints, Buccaneers, and Rams all might eventually need a change.
Yeah, so we've got an old person in Pittsburgh. We've got a whole thing in Houston. I like Derek Carr. Some people don't. So that's a thing. Denver Broncos have hot trash. The New York Giants, it depends on where you stand. This is a make or break year. Ryan Fitzpatrick, I hope he plays forever. I just don't see it happening. Jalen Hurts, this is a 1-year audition. Jared Goff, Minnesota Vikings, Kirk Cousins. This is the least likely on here for me, but I had to put it on.
They owe him a lot of money.
Because I put it on and I didn't want to take it off. The New Orleans Saints, there's Winston, there's Hill. Where are we going? That has huge fantasy implications, which we'll talk about. And then Tom Brady, Jesus Christ, Gordie Howe. I mean, I don't know how long this guy could go. And then Matt Stafford, when's he done?
He's only 33.
Yeah, Matt Stafford, the Rams, I'm sorry, but they should not be on here.
No.
Neither
Matt
should the
Stafford's
Raiders.
A young buck.
Well, listen, I'll talk to whoever writes this fucking shit, and then we'll get it taken care of.
Fire him. Back when Donald Trump was still cool. You're fired.
Okay, so of these teams, I can't see Big Ben playing another year.
No.
The Houston Texans, if Watson's out, obviously, I don't think Mills is the answer. The
He's
Broncos for sure. If
Fuck
Daniel
'em.
Jones performs, probably
Daniel
not.
Jones stinks.
Okay, all right. A thought experiment. Fucking go with it. Jalen Hurts, a lot of people. I mean, unfortunately, having good fantasy numbers doesn't necessarily win you the job. I've seen people have him as high as QB6, which is high. Britt's making a face.
I don't love that.
Yeah, he doesn't love that. So, Britt, let's start there. Why don't you love that? And then, Ryan, why do you disagree with him?
So I love Jalen Hurts. Like, I am the person that was hyping Jalen Hurts up and talking shit about Carson Wentz because Wentz sucks at football.
You have said nothing I disagree with so far.
That may be a little bit over the board, but like I'm pretty comfortable in that stand. The concern I have is that the Eagles have 3 first-round picks and that the management's stupid enough to believe that they still have a shot at winning a Super Bowl now instead of realizing they need to rebuild, which makes me worry that they're going to consolidate those 3 first-round picks and move up because they're not going to be good enough to be drafting after pick 20. So it's still feasible to move up 2 picks and package to get in the top 10. So it's less about Hurts and more about the ineptitude of the Eagles franchise as a whole.
I 100% could see where Jalen Hurts gets them just below 20, still outside the playoffs, and they just sink in. They just dig their heels into mediocrity for a couple of years.
I could also see Howie Roseman leveraging those picks, trading into the top 5, and then drafting Spencer Sanders out of Oklahoma State.
I don't know if that's a joke.
Spencer Sanders is garbage.
I heard Spencer and I jumped to Spencer Rattler.
Me too.
No, the other Oklahoma Spencer.
Yeah, I saw a picture of Spencer Rattler when somebody was putting this shit together. I saw a picture of Spencer Rattler with Spencer Sanders in the background. Not very happy. But so we can agree the Texans are going to be in the market. The Broncos will be in the market. The Steelers will likely be in the market.
Yep.
The Lions will be in the market. And
the Vikings are kind of lassoed to Kirk Cousins right now as far as contract goes. Washington will probably be in the market, but they're going to be too good this year to get a decent pick.
Agreed. So Britt, let me ask you this. Where do you see a new quarterback making the biggest fantasy impact, or where do you see the biggest fantasy implications for next year?
So I personally had a hot take last year where I thought that Aaron Rodgers was going to be a Denver Bronco come the trade deadline.
Good for you.
Oh, God, I fucking hate that.
I clearly am a little bit early on that. Now it seems that Aaron Rodgers is in a purgatory of deciding if he hates his family enough to continue being good at football, if he hates the Green Bay Packers enough to stop being good at football, or if he loves Shailene Woodley enough to keep making those Boku bucks. So he's in this weird like 3-way purgatory that doesn't really make any sense. That being said, my answer here, locked in, final answer is the Denver Broncos, because they have the most ready, Super Bowl ready team out of any of those lists, just missing a quarterback that has a heartbeat, that is, and the ability to actually be serviceable. Teddy B is going to be fine, but he's not going to take him past the wild card round.
No, he is a dink and dunk master with his 2 gloves in Denver.
News has it. I love Teddy 2 gloves. News has it that Drew Lock is in the driver's seat in that competition. So that tells you where they're at. So Britt, I completely agree with you. Unless Teddy takes over, inevitably 2 or 3 games into the season.
Just Google image search Teddy Bridgewater, white pants, Louisville. You're welcome. You're muted. You've muted yourself, sir.
That wasn't me. That was someone else. So this is where it stands with potentially we can see a lot of teams maybe drafting quarterbacks. We got that every year, but there's a list of teams here, and that will be upped if we have a rash of retirements. I don't know who put the Los Angeles Rams on here, but
they should be fired.
They should absolutely be fired.
Sam Howell, let's talk about the North Carolina signal caller. He is a doughy 6'1", 225. Came in as the 93rd overall recruit. His 19 stats were decent. His 20 stats were otherworldly because he threw go balls all day long to that receiving core. What do we think about Samuel Howell as the baby drowns in the toilet on the
You know, I like
totally irrelevant.
I like Sam Howell. I'm actually really excited for Sam Howell this year, mostly because he's without De'Ami Brown. He's without Daz Newsome. He's without Javonte Williams, and he is without Michael Carter. They brought in a fifth-year senior Ty Chandler from Tennessee. They brought in a 4 or 5-star running back that's an absolute stud freshman. They have Josh Downs coming in as their wide receiver. And that's pretty much it. Like, he's going to benefit because they have one of the best offensive lines in college. And so he's not going to fail. But if he falters this year, which is entirely feasible, it's going to be interesting to see, because I think he's one of these players that are going to be a steal in the NFL draft simply because he was thrown to a bunch of trash bags and future accountants.
Yeah, I think he has a lot to prove this year, just because he lost so much of the playmakers around him, and De'Ami Brown and Daz Newsome and all of those guys you just mentioned. He could come out and have a spectacular showing, and North Carolina could go 9-3 and win the Gator Bowl. That's just the way things are going to go for Sam Howell. They could also make the college football playoff if it was the 12 teams this year and not in 2023 when that's going to happen. I think he's going to be a victim of the offense that he's in as far as his draft stock goes, because they do chuck it all over the field. They love just step back, hold my dick, throw it deep, let's see what happens kind of go balls. Love the way that plays in college. Doesn't quite play in the NFL. What he does remind me of, though, is a little Baker Mayfield.
I knew you were going to go there, and I love that comp. So this year, this past year, Sam Howell completed 83 passes for 993 yards on RPOs, which led college football. So this is tailored. The offense is tailored, and Mac Brown is doing a fantastic job there, even on the trail, as Britt said. They brought in 5 stars along the D line as well. Tony Grimes in the secondary for them, who started as a freshman, just like Howell did. He's bringing in studs, and I mean, we saw that collection that Britt mentioned with Brown and Carter and Williams. I really don't think that Ty Chandler is gonna, as good as he is gonna replace what those two could bring. So the running game is obviously going to take a step back. With this team, I think it depends on that offensive line. I think Britt is exactly right about this potentially being predicated. His value being predicated on who takes him. And like Ryan said, I see a lot of Baker. He's 6'1", 225. And as you'll see as we go,
doughy, lumpy looking 225. I love the body.
Just he's got the Mac. He's got the McCorkle Jones sort of build. Not quite as beautiful, but he's got that sort of build. But this guy can move.
Yeah,
watching,
he's a legit athlete.
Yeah, watching the Notre Dame game, he was relatively elusive, and you'll see as we go down this list of prospects, his rushing yards don't have a minus sign in front of them, which becomes important as we go down, save Malik Willis and Spencer Rattler. But
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I really want you guys to pay attention to the audience. This is a good point. I just I just want you to pay attention to rushing yardage between Howell and Rattler, because I think there's a huge misconception of Rattler. And then when you see his rushing, you're like, huh? Oh. What I did notice is when I'm pulling up these very secure and very real stats from PFF. It's not a shot at you, PFF. You just have no fucking bias in how you chart things. You just chart them to make them sound great. It's cool. It's not your fault. It's just everyone else's fault but yours. Allegedly, he was under pressure just about 33% of his dropbacks. So I'm excited to see what he does this year when he's pressured. I want to see how he's able to manipulate the pocket, how he's able to climb the ladder, or if he kind of bails out and pulls his old Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, old school, like 3-yard run that takes about 85% of his daily energy.
Yeah. Yeah. I love watching Sam Howell. He is a good, solid quality college football watch. I will be tuned into UNC games, not only because it's probably the only thing on television in Raleigh, North Carolina.
So one final note on this, he did lay an egg in the 2 of the 3 biggest games of the year. But whenever they put an absolute ass whooping on Miami, he was on point, only threw into the teens, completed like 70, almost 80% of his balls, had a couple touchdowns, also rushed for one and caught one in that game as well. Now, Javonte Williams and Michael Carter embarrassed the grandparents of everyone playing in that game on Miami's side of the ball. But I think Howell standalone is a really good prospect. And I mean, God help us all if he finds his way to a team that can tailor that offense.
The Broncos would be a phenomenal destination for Sam Howell. They're
Yes,
not going to be
would.
bad enough this year, but they're going to be phenomenal for it. What you want with Sam Howell when he goes into the NFL is you want them to have some resemblance of offensive line. I don't really give a shit about the targets because you can get it, but I want to have an offensive line that is better than the Jets this year.
Yep.
That's what you want with Sam Howell.
Any kind of protection would be helpful. Next, we have Kedon Slovis at AJ's favorite school, USC, Southern Cal, those mighty Trojans.
No.
6'2", 200 junior, number 705 coming out of high school. Unbelievable that USC has fallen so far, as their starting quarterback was the 705th ranked player coming out of high school. Threw for 72, completed 72% of his balls in 2019, 30 touchdowns, 9 picks. Pretty good passer rating. The college passer rating number, I just don't fully understand it. 67% completion last year, a little bit of a dip. Didn't really expect to play it all last year until, the Pac-12 decided to, we'll get in on this college football thing a little bit while the Big Ten's cashing in. 17 touchdowns, 7 picks, only played 6 games. Negative 57 rushing yards in both of those years. At least he's consistent.
Remarkable that it was the same number both years.
I love that.
At that point, you just have to assume that he knew and he was intentionally trying to achieve negative 57.
Yeah,
that's truly what that is. Kedon,
whatever his name is.
Keaton Slovis.
Zamboni Slovis.
Keaton Slovis he's a really feisty name to bring up in any sort of Devy circle because people are really high on him. And then he kind of shit the bed because he only played 6 games. And now people are kind of low on him and everyone's all of a sudden back in. This is probably his best receiving class that he's going to have.
Yeah.
He didn't have Michael Pittman. He had Drake London and a bunch of scrubs. And then the offensive coordinator had Drake London running bubble screens because Drake London isn't a good player.
Yep.
And I don't, if you watch Drake London's film, it leaves you scratching your head as to what he's exactly good at because they have him doing things that players do when they're 5 inches, 6 inches shorter and 130 pounds, or like 10 pounds lighter and much faster. So Slovis is exciting. He's got Taj Williams from Memphis transferring over, a guy who had a wonderful freshman year from Memphis. He has Brew McCoy, who, if you know the name, then you love the name, went to Texas, said, I miss mom and dad, came back, had a city year. Now he's finally starting to get implemented. Very highly rated prospect. He has Drake London, who I just shit on, but believe it or not, he is good at college football. And then a bunch of other scrubs. And not to mention, now they finally have a running back in Keontae Ingram. Dear God, please actually be good. I need you to be good for all my Devy teams. I like him this year. He's going to be interesting. He doesn't have the Konami code. So in fantasy-wise, it's kind of but he's one of those quarterbacks that are probably going to get taken that Mac Jones area for range this year.
He doesn't have a huge arm. It's not going to wow you when you watch Kedon Slovis throw a football. It doesn't pop off his hand like it does some of these other guys like Sam Howell. We're going to talk about Spencer Rattler here in a little bit. But he's relatively accurate. If you project his numbers from 2020 out to a full season, they're better than 2019. The only thing that dipped was his completion percentage because he was throwing to a bunch of Target employees. He's fine. He is one of those college quarterbacks coming out that is fine. In this day and age, he'll be a first-round draft pick. 15 years ago, he would be a 4th-round draft pick and wait for 4 years before he starts.
Those games that they won, a lot of those were they got by the skin of their teeth on a lot of those wins this year. I don't consider wins to be a quarterback stat, which is why I didn't put them in here. If you're familiar with the offense and you see the numbers, that's about those are the two biggest indicators for me. Also, it helps to know how the weapons are around them at the time, a little bit about the offensive line, but I didn't put the wins and losses in here for a reason, because they are, to me, they are just less relevant. But he got it done when it mattered last year. That offensive line is going to take a pretty significant step back at USC for him, with Elijah Vera-Tucker coming out. Brew McCoy, I am so terrified to see what he does as a Notre Dame fan. He scares the living shit out of me. That was a top 10 recruit as an athlete. That guy could do whatever the hell he wanted to do. Yeah, and committed to Texas, signed, and whatever.
Texas is back. Texas is back.
Texas is always back, baby.
Speaking of Texas is back, we're going to have this conversation about Casey Thompson here in a couple of years. That dude's a fucking monster.
Mm-hmm. So to come back a little bit, Slovis did beat out JT Daniels. He originally lost the job due to injury. And then, and as much as I enjoy Clay Helton in the fact that he keeps them mostly in purgatory, which is just fabulous for me. But so his decision-making can be questioned a bit. But when they were both in camp, he sent JT Daniels packing.
I was going to say, Helton is a fraud of a coach, almost as fraudulent as Jimmy Lakes at UW. So I am blessed to live on the West Coast, so I can see these games at real normal people hours, like 7 and not 10.
That's true.
And so it's fun because you get to watch just how bad these Lakes and Heltons are, and just realize how lucky they are that they're not on prime time shows, because they would have gotten fired before they ever got the job. It's embarrassing. And it drives me nuts. And I have so many strong feelings towards the Pac-12.
So also, all in all, we see, go ahead, Britt.
I just want to say, can we just give a real impromptu and impolite fuck you to the Pac-12 commissioner? Just go fuck yourself.
100%.
Yeah, go fuck yourself, dude.
What the fuck is wrong with you? How do you say and sit here and say, well, everyone else is going about it, you can go fuck themselves, I'm doing the right thing, and say, oh shit, wait, all this money we're losing, fuck. Hey, by the way, here's 6 games. Go have fun, kids. You're good.
You will play for nothing important.
Yeah, you will play for Jack Stidity squad. You're not Ohio State. They don't love it. So we see Keaton Slovis as a first-round pick, but a bit of McCorkle Jones, just uglier. Is that fair?
Yeah.
He's not bringing sexy back to the pocket passers like Mac Jones.
I love that baby picture. He's got brassieres too.
Which one of you's moms took a picture of you when you're about 2 years old?
I have too many of those to count. Just pulled that one out of a hat.
I burned them all as a teenager.
Yeah. Malik Willis started at Auburn, went to Liberty. 6'1", 215 going into his senior year. He was 368th ranked prospect coming out of high school. His grand total at Auburn, didn't play a whole lot. 11 balls thrown, 69 very nice yards through the air. 1 touchdown, no picks. Played in 12 games, 309 rushing yards at Auburn, 2 rushing touchdowns. And then he went to Liberty, and Hugh Freeze probably did something illegal to get him there.
What?
Not Hugh.
No.
Not Hugh.
Before I get into Willis, who I have strong feelings on that are unsubstantiated, so it's gonna be really fun to probably look back at them in a year and a half and hate it. This is a type of player in this position or in this school that you're going to see more of now that players are able to monopolize their name and brand this. There is less incentive for these players to go to these big name schools because they can make more money going to slightly lesser tier schools, making a bigger impact. And if they're at the point to be a Vince Young type of player in Texas, where your legacy goes on decades, in decades. So you're getting marketing money because there are people still buying Vince Young Texas jerseys.
Yep.
That is more important to some kids who need to pay and help their families out and help their and help the people around them out than going to Alabama and sitting 2.5 years to play.
Preach.
This is a Malik Willis that is going. He is a player. He's so much fun. Last year, if you were on, I don't remember the fucking podcast. God damn it. It was one of the RotoViz podcasts where they would go over CFS betting. Anytime there was Liberty that was within 6 points, you took Liberty to win because Malik Willis gave that ability. Now, really quickly, Malik Willis is only being talked about like this because of Trey Lance. And I so strongly believe that. There is one reason that Malik Willis is getting first round hype, and it's because Trey Lance, who is similar but not at all, got drafted 3 overall. So the fact that Malik Willis is in this conversation, he truthfully does not belong. He's going to be drafted in the first round because he can run really fast and looks really good doing it. But as a quarterback, he is not a good one. He is what people think Lamar Jackson is, right? He is a true running back that has the ability and opportunity to throw the ball more than any other running back can. It's not a bad thing, but it's not something that I'm going to stake a claim on in any sort of fantasy realm. He should be fun in the NFL, though.
Just like Lamar, he came out as an athlete. So when he was recruited, he was categorized as an athlete, just like Lamar was.
He has an absolute hose. But watching him throw the football makes you squirmy a little bit. Like it's not super pleasant to watch him throw.
Could you elaborate on that word?
Squirmy? It's that feeling you get in your gut that makes you go, ooh. Things that make you go, ooh. Malik Willis throwing the football, but he is an electric player in college football. And I am so glad that he has brought the Liberty Flames back to prominence for a good reason, unlike Jerry Falwell and Hugh Freeze. That's a fun football team. They are really fun. I watched them beat Coastal Carolina in the bowl game last year.
Yeah, they're really fun, man. It's really fun. Like anytime there's a player that can make me go and watch a team like Liberty and make me actually care, I love that player because that's just fun. I'm here for the fun and chaos. That's all they really fucking care about.
Yep. College football is the best. And Malik Willis epitomizes the fun and chaos of college football. Yeah. Is he going to be a good pro? Absolutely not. But he is a blast in college.
I think we'll know a lot based on how Trey Lance performs. Now, like Britt
exceptionally well.
Like Britt said, he is in no way comparable to Trey Lance outside the absolute cannon of an arm. Their running styles completely different. Trey Lance is a faster Tim Tebow if you got to go there. Malik Willis is closer. I mean, this is 225. Trey Lance is 215. Trey Lance ain't 215.
No,
not at all. That
one of his legs is 215.
Stacked. Yeah, one of his thigh-sicles is 215.
Yeah. We love Malik Willis. We don't love Malik Willis in the pros. I love that the way that boiled down. Sorry, Malik. Longtime listener of the podcast, Malik Willis. Carson Strong, not ranked coming out of high school. And what the hell is going on in that picture?
The baby and the dad traded faces on the beach.
You know it's a good joke when you got to explain the joke. That's the perfect part of it.
So Carson Strong.
Not a great 2019. 63% of his passes completed, 11 touchdowns, 7 interceptions in 10 games, -6 rushing yards. Pure pocket guy, -95 rushing yards in 2020. Up that completion percentage to 70%, 27 touchdowns, 4 picks. Really good rating at 160.6, but that doesn't really mean anything because quarterback rating is a dumb stat. I must admit, I have not watched 1 second of Carson Strong. I don't know who this human is.
You really should. I like Carson Strong, man. So when it comes down to quarterbacks that can kick in the door in the top 3, not named JT Daniels because he's a fraud, and Kedon Slovis is, well, who knows what he's going to be. He's probably going to be a Zach Wilson type prospect. I actually do like JT Daniels, but it's Carson Strong and it's Matt Corral, right? 2 guys that are in positions to make another big splash and then get their name on the board. Carson Strong's got a good body. Carson Strong had a jump in adjusted yards per pass attempt by nearly 3 yards, or over 3 yards from his sophomore to junior season. I like what he brings to the table, and it's nice because he's, granted, not playing against good competition like Malik Willis, but he also doesn't have the benefit that Malik Willis does, which is his legs. And so he's got to make it work with his eyes and with his arm. And so what I like to see there is that I'm happy that he's able to be successful. The likelihood that he's going to be an NFL quality starter is probably not great. But I mean, if you like Drew Lock, then you should like Carson Strong. Do with that what you will.
We don't. Well,
we love to hate Drew Lock.
Yeah, we do.
I'm watching a little bit of Carson Strong right now. His delivery is a little shot putty. It's not super natural as a throwing motion, and he doesn't drive the ball well to the boundary.
Which is a big problem because
in the NFL, that's a huge problem.
If you can't go to the right side and throw to the left hash, you are fucked.
Yeah,
that's just how this works.
Not a great thing to be known for. I'm a pretty strong believer in high school rankings for the most part. And if nobody looked at you coming out of high school, there's a reason for that. Not supernaturally gifted.
Hot take.
He's a hot name that people are talking about because they're bored just with everything else. And once the games turn on and good players like Matt Corral start doing fun things, then they're gonna be like, good. I don't really care about Carson Strong anymore because I can watch Matt Corral just throw for 6,000 yards and pull a Jameis Winston 30 for 30.
Yeah. All right. I'm glad you encouraged me to watch a little tape. I'm just watching highlights. It's not actual tape, and I'm not super impressed.
Yeah.
Well, so to Britt's point, the jump, even without advanced analytics, just the jump from 19 to 20 is startling.
Yes.
And that could be a guy who recommits himself to the program and makes big strides, or he's a product of a system. To go from 63.4 completion percentage up to 70.1, and then the touchdown to interception ratio 11-7, all the way up to 27-4 is startling. Also, the jump from -6 rushing yards to -95 rush yards, that sort of goes against the entire trend of the NFL. Those guys can generally move. Carson Strong seems to move a little.
He moves backwards.
Yeah.
He's Tom Brady, just not good.
All right, say goodbye to that baby and dad face swap.
Throws a lot of balls off his back foot as well. Speaking of Gary Busey, Spencer Rattler out of Phoenix, 11th ranked player coming out of high school, #1 quarterback in his class. They were talking about him in Norman when he was a sophomore in high school. They were excited about this kid, and for good reason. He's really good. 7 of 11 his freshman season behind Jalen Hurts. He got some garbage time coming in, 64%. I don't take a lot of stock in that stat line there. 2020 is when he actually got a chance to play. Got benched in the Texas game because he was a burning trash can in the first half of that game. And then he came back and they won the game.
Yep.
So 68% completion, 27 touchdowns, 7 picks, 172 rating in 11 games, 160 rushing yards, just only 15 more than Sam Howell, 6 rushing touchdowns. We all know what Lincoln Riley can do to quarterbacks and how good he can make quarterbacks look. This kid is good. He throws a lot of balls off his back foot.
Yes.
He does a lot of things that he's not going to get away with at the next level that he can get away with at Oklahoma. I love the kid's potential. You hear, baby Mahomes being thrown around a little bit. He doesn't have that kind of arm talent. He just flat does not have that kind of arm talent. He has a very talented arm, but he's got to clean a lot of stuff up to be successful at the next level.
This guy is the closest of all these prospects to being the current iteration of the NFL star quarterback, which is a lot of mobility, not Lamar Jackson mobility necessarily, and then the change in arm angles, the improvisation, all that stuff. This is as close as it gets in that class, at least among the top most visible prospects right now. Spencer Rattler embodies that. Now, 6'1", 205. That's going to be a concern for some folks. Your guys like Josh Allen, Pat Mahomes, those are big fellas. Those guys got the thickness, couple C's. They got the thickness. Yeah. Spencer Rattler,
Which
1C at most.
Which, if we know anything about the NFL in this last draft, is that they like to inflate the numbers, not deflate them. Doesn't irregardless. So Spencer Rattler is actually closer to 200. You're encroaching Jaden Daniels territory a little bit out of Arizona, which is concerning. And also, Spencer Rattler's averaged 2 yards per rush last year. And I'm sorry, but if I want you to be a rushing quarterback, I'm going to expect you to have an average above 2. Granted, short season, whatever you want to throw there, I want to see him improve in his rushing. I want to see him get rid of at least some of those bad habits, if not get rid of them, improve on them, and show that he's recognizing what needs to grow and growing on it. I like Rattler. He's fun. He was in that Netflix series where they were following these high school kids up until they're playing to college. He showed some mental fortitude early, which I appreciate because he was getting absolutely shelled by everyone, their grandma, their uncle, their Aunt Susan, who drinks too much and doesn't shut the fuck up. Everyone was messaging Spencer Rattler and saying, hey, listen, man, you fucking suck after 2 games in a COVID season. So, like, the kid still persevered. I'm a big fan of his. I just think that people are too in love with what AJ said and what he's embodies without actually looking what he has intangible wise.
He has the arm talent to be great. He is relying too heavily on that arm talent right now at Oklahoma because he can get away with that. In the NFL, you can't get away with relying on arm talent. People are all good in the NFL. You can't get away with bullshit throws. A lot of those touchdown passes, the long balls to Marvin Mims, they're underthrown. Flat out, they're underthrown. The only reason they're touchdown passes is because he is wide open and it's against Kansas.
You could just toss that game out. Sincerely, you can just toss that game out unless they accidentally, walk their way into the.
I want Spencer Rattler to be good because I love Lincoln Riley's offense, and it's pretty and pleasing to watch. It is a blast to watch, and I want him to be good and executed to the best of his ability. I saw Baker Mayfield in person. I saw Kyler Murray in person. I saw Jalen Hurts in person. He is none of those.
I think to Britt's point, the rushing is being significantly overhyped. The first thing I saw when I watched a little bit of non-all 22 tapes, so take it for what it's worth, side view, ESPN shit, all that jazz. But the first thing I noticed, which you don't need that all 22 tape for, is the fact that this guy is not the athlete that we're hyping him up to be. Now, he is just as mobile as your Josh Allen's, but he does not have that power. He does not have 235 pounds of strength to break the tackles that Josh Allen does. You're not getting that kind of rushing. You're getting maybe Aaron Rodgers rushing. Something along those lines. You
guys comped Sam Howell to Baker Mayfield. I actually think Baker Mayfield's better comp to Spencer Rattler.
I don't disagree. Baker has a bigger arm than Spencer Rattler does.
He does, and I'm a fan of Baker.
Me too.
I'm not a fan of Stefanski. It sucks because I think Baker's actually good, and I don't think he's ever going to get the opportunity to show how good he could be, similar to Russell Wilson. Don't get me started on that tangent. I'm coming back. Spencer Rattler, it needs to fall in that sort of type of role, though. Like, you know what, Spencer Rattler? This is what I want, Spencer. I want him to go to the Vikings. That's what I fucking want. Spencer Rattler and the Vikings, good defense, a run-heavy offense. Offensive line is there. They have weapons offensively. He doesn't need to play hero ball. He can take care of the ball, play smart, doesn't need to do this gaudy thing. I think that would be one of the best case scenarios for Spencer Rattler.
And I think if he goes to that kind of system, he can do those things that your game manager quarterbacks, for whatever that means. That's super vague of a term. I don't really like it, but take it for what it's worth. those game managers, quote unquote. Spencer Rattler's got shit that those guys can only dream of.
Yep.
But if you give him that game manager role, and sometimes you turn him loose, teams will have no fucking idea what to do whenever they turn him loose. If they're down a little bit, I could see the Vikings. Now, you said that defense. This might contribute to, I don't know, maybe a fantasy implication or two. That defense, hopefully they shore up that defensive line. I am very concerned with them.
Yeah, no, I definitely misspoke. I meant to say their offensive line, and my dumbass brain farted. And
you know what? You
defense.
didn't make a pun, so you're fine, buddy.
Yeah, you're in good shape. I think we are underselling his ability to do things off script. He does see throws that other people can't see. And if he cleans up his footwork and plants his feet and throws with his body moving in the correct direction, all of these concerns are gone for me, because all those underthrown balls, they're all off his back foot. All he has to do is get his weight moving forward, and he's fine. All of the rest, the breakouts of the year. Matt Corral kind of had his breakout last year. Is that Evan in an elf costume?
Yeah, that's my roommate. He makes a lot of appearances on the show without actually being here.
I think Matt Corral.
Tune into the YouTube channel if you want to see this fucking garbage.
Yeah.
You really should.
Matt Corral had his breakout year last year in Lane Kiffin's system with Elijah Moore out there. Matt Corral put up bananas numbers, even though he did throw 6 interceptions against Arkansas. He still had a PFF grade over 90, which is unbelievable. JT Daniels, Georgia should be really, really good this year. We'll see how many 5-star players Kirby Smart can get and still lose 4 games. Desmond Ridder, Cincinnati quarterback. Cincinnati, they were tremendous last year in the American Conference. Brock Purdy, I believe, is overrated at Iowa State. They get the best out of him with Matt Campbell as his head coach. Phil Jerkovich, I'm excited to see a little jerking going on at Boston College. And then Jaden Daniels at Arizona State. Who really pops off the page for you there, Britt?
Yeah, I already mentioned Matt Corral. I think that has the biggest potential just simply because he is going to be the offense. They have Jerry and Ely, who is a pass-catching running back, not a real running back. They have nobody to be catching the ball from. They have 47% of a vacated receiving targets simply because Elijah Moore and Kenny Yeboah left. Elijah Moore had more receiving yards than the next 3 fucking receivers, leaving out Kenny Yeboah. This is a short rant. Elijah Moore is good. If you can't buy him now, you're never going to be able to. So overpay now to succeed later. They have Jonathan Mingo there. He is a 3-year starter. He is, I don't know. I want him to be good so fucking bad because one of my first ever Devy drafted players. They brought in a JUCO transfer named Quad Davis, someone I'm very excited for, someone who's going to really fill that Elijah Moore role, or could potentially. And they have a bunch of old, broken fucking veterans. Or seniors, super seniors, people that are going to be there to catch the ball and fall down, right? Like they're the guys that go into the parties, walk in, they know everybody because they've been there for 5 years, and they walk out and they're like, all right, see you, man. I'll see you next year. Thanks for coming by. They have a couple exciting freshmen, but nobody that's going to be too excited for me. JT Daniels, he lost George Pickens. He got Eric Gilbert. Georgia's calling Eric Gilbert a wide receiver because they suck at tight ends and they already have Darnell Washington. So, I mean, he's not going to see that big of a downgrade. If JT Daniels can't do it, he never was going to be able to, which is also an indictment on Kedon Slovis. So he's going to be fun to watch simply for that. Desmond Ridder, I don't know how to feel about Ridder. He's got rushing. And he you know what? He's Jordan Love. That's what he is. He's got the rushing, and then he also is able to have some good games and then a bunch of really bad games.
He can throw it a little.
Yeah, Brock Purdy's not good, but everyone wants him to be. Phil Jerkovich, honestly, I just know the name because it's fun. I don't think he's going to be much more. He's like not even a Kyle Trask.
He couldn't win the job at Notre Dame.
Yeah, he's a Davis Mills type of player. He's going to
not
get
even
in the
Kyle
round.
Trask is sacrilege on this podcast.
I will tell you this: if you haven't seen him boogie, he looks like Josh Allen, and he's built like him too. But that's about the only redeeming quality. His mechanics are poopy.
okay, so about also then Jaden Daniels, everyone wants him to be heavier. He came in at 195. He said he's putting on weight. So I don't know what that means, but realistically, if you're putting on more than 5 to 10 pounds a year, you're either doing it with growth hormone or you're going to be a fat, blubbery, doughy McCorkle. Your choice. Jaden Daniels can't afford to be McCorkle-esque body type. He is fun though. And also it's important to note ASU is having sanctions coming down because Herm doesn't believe in COVID and apparently was breaking all the rules and got caught doing it, unlike the Nick Sabans of the world. So you don't know how that's going to impact him. He could be one of these players that stays for his senior year simply because of the sanctions really interrupting and disrupting his junior year.
You play to win the game. You play to win the game.
If you're not cheating, you're not trying. The Bill Belichick way.
So probably doesn't know the college rules, by the way. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
He's doing good with the program. He's so fun. I was so bummed to hear it because I just love what he's doing with the program.
He doesn't know the rules in college at this point.
Or he gets grandfathered in, so it doesn't fucking matter, unfortunately.
So I actually think that JT Daniels is the most interesting player here, solely for the fact that Kirby Smart, we're going to know absolutely jack shit about what JT Daniels can do because of what Kirby Smart has his little phalanges into that offense. And he wants to do what he wants to do with that offense. And I don't think we're going to get a good handle on what JT Daniels is actually capable of. And I think this year he can literally only hurt his draft stock because the only way is if he puts, I don't see him putting up your Matt Corral numbers because Lane Kiffin is totally different than what Kirby Smart wants to run. I think Kirby Smart is the biggest JT Daniels problem this year. Now he could help his draft stock this year. I see it more as a liability to his draft stock than otherwise.
Can I say that I love Lane Kiffin?
You can say whatever you want to say.
I genuinely love Lane Kiffin.
I'd grab a beer with Lane Kiffin, and I'd take a shit on Kirby Smart's car. So I don't know what that means, but I'm not sold that JT Daniels is good. Like
me neither. I'm not either.
All he's writing right now is it's like Sam Darnold is like, hey, you have these two traits that everyone loves, but like you've literally shown nothing, and you got a plethora of excuses why you haven't performed. Mm-hmm. So he's exciting. I would have liked it more if it was Pickens and Gilbert because now you've got an out saying he only had one weapon. But he's going to be fun. It's going to be kind of okay.
They're going to win 10 games. They're going to win 10 games. They're going to go 10-3. They're going to lose to Alabama, and they're going to miss the playoffs.
If Kirby's smart, God forbid he figures out how to use tight ends because if they've got Eric Gilbert and Darnell Washington, that's 2 5-star players. Mind you, not better than Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame. You can mark that fucking down.
Shut your mouth.
I love your energy, Britt.
This is ridiculous. You can't. Okay, you know what this reminds me of? This is last year me when I was saying Pat Freiermuth is better than Kyle Pitts.
Yikes.
And this
bummer, dude.
And this is going to be you in a year saying that you think Mayer is better than Gilbert. The only issue with Gilbert is he has no fucking college resume, so we don't actually know anything because he played like 4 games in LSU and so he's going to get drafted because he was a high prospect. Mayer's good though, as are all Notre Dame tight ends, which includes Cole Kmet and what's his fucking face, Tommy Tremble. I like Mayer.
Started on that.
I just
Mayer is classical. He's safe.
Yeah, he's safe. I'm gonna roll the dice with Gilbert and whatever the hell is going on with him. Dear God, kid, get what you need and get right because you're too fun to be wasted on whatever's going on.
Facts.
Georgia football fans don't deserve good things though. So
it's a tough life.
You heard it here for the billionth time.
You are our winner of the McCorkle Award, Mr.
Let's
Sanders.
go.
Can I take my shirt off now?
Oh,
yes.
Hell yes. I don't know why it was on in the first place.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, get up. So, me and my co-hosts have a funny thing. As it is no AC, but I just don't like clothes in general. They're dumb. They're restrictive.
Oh, preach to me.
Any opportunity I am given to not wear clothes, I take because I just enjoy the freedom of wind blowing upon my skin.
Oh, yes. Plaudits
you know
for that.
Now I'm not I'm not crazy. I'm not walking out free balling down the main street, but I'm more than willing.
That's a bummer.
Are we going to join in the no shirt brigade as we take this out? I think we're going to.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that.
Excellent. I love this. I strongly suggest that you just fully embrace this lack of clothing because it is free.
I do feel much freer now.
And you're just more confident. And you know, if Mac Jones can get drafted 15th overall with that gorgeous dad bod, then God damn it, so can we.
He's so beautiful.
This is liberating. I look like Mac Jones right now.
Just got to get you a cigar.
Yes. So another congratulations to Britt for winning the McCorkle Award. Listen, dude, this was not pre-planned. Okay, you showed something that really spoke to us. Okay, so big hand for you again, Ryan. Clap, you idiot. Last week's winner. Shout out to Connor Rigg. We love the guy. He's fabulous. Have him on your show.
I will.
Yeah, we almost skipped the pronunciation game, but we're going to do it shirtless this time. These are the words Evan can't say. That is AJ's roommate. This game all came to effect because he can't pronounce this first one. AJ, take it away, sir.
So this is, and no comments here, Britt. This is the future #1 overall draft pick, Clemson quarterback. What's his name?
Okay. DJ Ungwale.
That was a good effort.
That was real good.
That was maybe our best effort yet.
Yeah, real good. Real good. Ryan, what does Evan call him?
Evan calls him DJ Agunglier. Which
at least he tries.
Also not correct.
No, that's super wrong. The next one is an edge rusher out of BYU. He played for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now he's down in the Bayou in the New Orleans Saints. What's his name, Britt?
Wait, we don't get to know DJ's proper pronunciation? Now I got to go do extra work.
Ungulele.
All right.
You were the first person that got the in there, by the way.
Yes.
Blessed. I'm blessed. Tano Patterson.
That almost sounded like Corral Patterson.
Tano Capassignon.
Oh, motherfucker.
Like filet mignon.
Delicious. So the next one is the backup tight end. Not very often used, and maybe Britt's doing a thing. Maybe he's familiar with this one. He went to Missouri. Broncos backup tight end. What's his name, Britt?
Albert Okoye-Bunam. Also had his stupid, insane touchdown, right? I'm a Broncos fan. I love him.
Good for you.
That's not right, though. It's Okoye-Bunam.
Oh, fuck off. God damn it. That's some bullshit.
How did you pronounce it again?
It is bullshit.
I'm gonna let him know. I'm gonna say, listen, sir, we gotta talk about your pronunciation.
Get at him. Hit the Twitters. So the next one is an edge rusher out of Old Dominion.
Old Dominion.
Yes, let's fucking go. Oh, I forget it every week. Sorry, and I'm not gonna say his first name. He's an edge rusher for the New York Football Giants. What's his name, Britt?
Oshane Zimenez.
Not bad.
That's bad.
No. The last attempt was okay. The first name you didn't get close. It is as simple as it looks. It is O'Shane.
Fuck.
O'Shane Ximenez out of Old Dominion.
Snaps. The next one is a first-round draft pick out of Auburn, cornerback, bringing Sexy back to Miami. What is his name?
Noah. Got the first name right.
Igbenogany. You're getting closer.
Yeah, keep trying.
Oh, that's too much. Igbenogany. Igbenogany. I can't say it twice.
Igbenogany.
Noah, Igbenogany. Just say it. It feels good. Igbenogany.
Igbenogany. Igbenogany.
Hey!
Igbenogany.
It's for you. The next one you should know as a fantasy player. He had 1 week of fabulous production and then a lot of special teams tackles. He plays for the New England Patriots, and he went to college somewhere. What is his name?
Gunnar Olszewski. Oh, fuck my life. I can't. God damn it, I fucked it up. Gunnar Olszewski. Oh, I can't. Olszewski.
No, sir.
Gunnar likes some whiskey.
I like that very much.
Also, gentlemen, my girlfriend just texted me and said, "Why is your shirt off?" I'm assuming she saw me through the window.
Is there a reason not to have it or to have it on?
Why is your shirt on?
Why is your shirt on? These are
These
facts.
These are
trying
questions.
on your brassiers.
For those,
State is where Gunnar Olszewski went.
For those not watching, Ryan is in front of some drying laundry, and there are brassiers dangling amidst his shoulders. By the way, this is Gunnar Olszewski. Think Mike Krzyzewski, and let that lead you down the correct path. The next one is Navy's head coach. Awesome dude. Been there for what seems like forever. What is his name? Proprietor of the option.
Ken Niumatulalo.
Nope.
Damn it.
No.
Oh, this is tough. I was really excited coming into this. I am no longer excited.
AJ, you love saying this name.
I do. It's nice and bouncy. Ken Niumatulalo. It feels nice. It's like Igbenogany. It feels so nice. Ryan suggested this next one. This is an edge rusher, linebacker hybrid, mostly edge rusher. Plays for the Oklahoma Sooners. What is his name? I would doubt that you know the player, but get to know the name.
David Igwogabu.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
It's a Gwegbu.
Just bad enough to be wrong. Yeah.
Yeah.
David Igwegbu. Ryan, you take this last one.
Yes, sir. Do you have your web browser available?
Yeah.
All right. Look up this gentleman's name on the Wikipedia machine.
Oh boy.
I may actually make you try and pronounce his full birth certificate name.
Oh, this is not his full birth certificate name?
It is not, sir.
I feel robbed of everything holy. Okay, here we go. Jesus fucking Christ. Usually I hate when people do this, but I am so blessed that this man is making everyone's life better. He deserves more money simply because of that.
He does.
Holy shit.
You don't have to. It's fine.
No, so it's Kaimi Fairbairn, right? But John Christian, Kayamimi, Olu Akameki. You know what?
Well done. We can't pronounce it either. Congratulations, Britt. Well done. That was mediocre at best. And another big shot, a Titanic thank you to Britt Sanders for joining us tonight. Clap, you idiots.
That would be me to clap.
Yeah. Normally that's just Ryan.
The one idiot.
No, we wouldn't.
Yeah.
Well, we would insult you, just not here.
Britt, thank you so much, man. We do appreciate it. Can you plug your shit for us one more time?
I would love to. Yeah. So you can find my Devy writings on breakoutfinder.com. You can find me on YouTube at Devy Deep Dive. Me and Brandon Corey break down Devy players. You can find my podcast with Eric and Bradley. Eric is at Eric Burkholder 6. Bradley's at the FF Bourbon Dude. I don't think I got that right. It's FF Bourbon Dude. You can find us on any podcast streaming at Rookie on the Rise. We talk about strictly rookies and how they are doing pre-drafts, post-drafts, production, how they influence in best ball, dynasty, redraft, Scott Fish. Well, we're doing it all, and we'll slowly bring you along. We are also talking about we're also doing a rotor ball contest there. You're gonna have to tune in to figure out what the fuck that means. You could also go to ffaffair.com, the non-sultry website that is strictly fantasy football for any of my dynasty and redraft writings. I will have my rankings up eventually, maybe. I don't know. Gentlemen, thank you so much for having me on. This was truly a blast and a one-of-a-kind experience I cannot wait to do again.
You can read One of a Kind as holy shit, what the hell did I just do? Thanks for listening to the Shall We Football Podcast. You can find and subscribe to the Shall We Football Podcast on any major podcast platform, Apple, Spotify, Google. Every episode of this podcast also available in video format on the YouTubes alongside other content. So like, subscribe, press the notification bell to be alerted every single time we upload. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at SWF_podcast. That's at SWF_podcast. We didn't have any copyright violations except for the babies.
Not this time.